I've just always been the one to look at a situation and be like, rarely will I ever say no to it, because I'd rather, even if it's like, hey, we can't pay you your full rate, but it's like, you never know where that job can lead. And like, there's been, like I said, all those videos early on were all done for free, and look where it took me. You know what I mean? And so you have to have the work ethic along with that, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with the idea of like putting in like your hours of, taking free work and making connections and whatnot, you have to capitalize that. You can't just like do some of those things here and there and like not capitalize on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You have to do the proper steps to capitalize on it. But yeah, ultimately it just comes down to work ethic. Yeah. Like, people who really want it, who really do want it, like, can make it happen.
Purpose in the Youth. Purpose in the Youth podcast. Welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Today, director, editor, absolute beast, bearded brother, and the guest for episode 100 of the podcast,
Woo!
Jacob Owens.
Oh, that's tight.
Episode 100, my man.
I like that.
I couldn't be more happy to have you as the 100th guest.
I'm excited to be here. Yeah, that's a cool little honor right there. I'll take that.
You know what's crazy? You want to talk about timing. I'm always preaching, like, you always have to, if something doesn't work out in the moment, maybe it has to happen at a later date. Right. I emailed you in January of this year, reaching out about the podcast. You had said, the timing wasn't great. And then, you had came out here, I think in June. Timing wasn't great again. You went to Europe. And then here we are today.
Boom.
So
100.
You want to talk about things happening for a reason.
Right.
I could not be happier.
Dude, I always say that. Like, I truly believe like things happen for a reason. And when you're ready, for something, like, it will happen for you. Yeah. Like, and I feel like sometimes when it doesn't happen, it's just like, basically like the universe saying like timing wasn't right, you weren't ready for this, like it'll come at a later date. And like, just I try and when anything doesn't go my way to never be mad at it, because it's just like I'm like, all right, it was supposed to be that way.
Well, it's just a mental shift, right? Like, it's just changing that perspective, because that wasn't something that 2 years ago I would have been bummed out if somebody said, oh, they can't do it. I'd be like, well, what do you mean they can't do it? Like, they don't want to do it? Like, what? Right. But when I realized that, like you said, things happen for a reason, and you just kind of change the way that maybe the timing isn't right. You kind of just hope and put the energy to the world that it's going to happen just at a later date, or whatever that situation might be. And then boom, here we are today. So
here we are.
Jacob Owens, we're going to have a hell of a bearded podcast today. Let me tell you right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Your beard's a little bushier than mine. Mine's a little more like King Leonidas, like straight to the point. Yeah, yours is like
definitely a little bit more straight to the point. So I respect it, and I was a little nervous coming in, because I always come in with the favorite bearded man. I'm like, do I say that across from Jacob Owens? The Jacob Owens? Like, is that overstepping?
Right. I almost said something. I was like, not after today, but no, I didn't. No disrespect.
We'll let it slide. We'll let it slide.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Arizona. As a kid, you didn't enjoy sleeping at friends' houses. Am I correct? It was kind of, you didn't like.
How did you find that out?
My man, listen.
Bro, you do your research.
This ain't my
if you
first
found that
rodeo.
out.
Let me tell you, we're gonna be getting into a podcast today, so I hope you're ready for it.
That's crazy.
So as a kid, you weren't. What's interesting is I actually wouldn't sleep at friends' house either. Yeah. So when I found that out, I was like, there's a connection right there, because for whatever reason, I would sleep at a friend's house, or try to, and then I'd call my mom at midnight, and she'd have to pick me up.
That's exactly what I would do.
So how was your relationship with your parents? Was it just very close? Was it?
I mean, I still do have a great relationship with my parents. Parents always have. They raised me really well, and I just like was just a homebody. I liked to be home. I liked to be in my own bed and be at home with my mom, and like, I don't know, I just always liked that. And like, there was even my neighbors, a block down the street, they're good friends of our childhood friends, and I go stay the night there, me and my brother, because they had a brother and a younger brother, and
with your brother there?
Even with my brother there, I'd call my mom and ask if she can come walk me home, like, and I wouldn't want to stay there. Wow. Like, and I would love to, like, the idea of sleepovers is like, Mom, can I have a sleepover at Nick's? And then something like that night, I would just be like, Mom, I want to come home. Like, I don't know what it was.
Was it just you needed to be in the same room, like the same house, or it's just?
I don't know. I was just I I never could put a finger on it other than I was just a homebody and you know, I liked to be home, and it even carried over into like my relationships. Like I never wanted to stay the night at my girlfriend's place in high school or anything. Like I was just like, you either stay at my place or it's like not happening. Like you come. She's
sleep
like,
over. Is this a good thing? I don't know. Like you want to stay at his place, or do you want to sleep at mine?
I would like, even with my girlfriend, I'd be like, nah, like if you want to sleep over, like it's at my house. Like we're not. So I don't know. Yeah, I've just always been a homebody and like to, I guess, I don't know if it's like me just liking to be in my own like environment schedule and not like, I don't know. Yeah. So just
whatever works. Yeah. Your work ethic is honestly something that is unmatched by a lot of people that I follow on social media. You are constantly hustling, working around the clock, but it's not that. You love what you do though. Yeah. That's the difference is that you love what you do every day. Is there something that stems back to your childhood of having to learn that work ethic?
Man, I mean, just even from when I was a little kid, I literally, if you ask my mom, and I have like all the stuff to like show for it, I was just always creating something, doing something. And she was like, you were just always like the most creative little kid. Like, and if you go through, I have boxes in my closet of magazines I developed. Like I started my own magazine for the neighborhood, and it was just like
in the neighborhood,
like there was like, I don't know, like 6 kids in the neighborhood, but it was for myself, but it wasn't for the neighborhood, but it like included the kids in the neighborhood. Like feature athlete of the week, it'd be my neighbor, like, because we'd play wiffle ball. Like, so I did that. I designed my own golf course. I have pages of drawn out golf course. I have a shoe collection that I designed of like 30 drawings of shoes. I created 2 card games and got them laminated, drew hundreds of different aliens and created like a Men in Black FBI kind of alien game. I made a SpongeBob card, and it's like it's good.
Down to the like
it's good. Like you were to look at this and be like, dang, a kid did this? Like it's legit. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It's good. And I would always draw and paint and scrapbook and shoot little Hot Wheels movies and pretend like it's a Fast and Furious thing with my brother and make monster movies. We'd go outside and film ourselves dunking and create our own like ESPN like dunk contest show and then have our neighbors hold up ratings, and I would and then I would write about it in the magazine I created, and like literally like Legos to just anything and everything. I made a Monopoly board game one time, but all geared around basketball, and it was like basketball players, and you would land on the basketball players and buy the basketball players. And like with the dude, it was just literally the list still goes on and on. Like I can't even name them all.
So where does the creative come from? Was it your mother? Was it your father? Did you just naturally gravitate towards it? My
mom was an artist, or she's not like an artist where she like paints for a living or anything, but she was just always had the talent, always painting and doing stuff like that. And her mom was an actual artist. And then my mom's mom was also a painter, and like so the blood. I think she always, as we were kids, like pushed creativity onto us as well. And I think, but I had that creative like
draw. You were interested into doing.
I think I got the talent from her, but I also was just like, she always like made it available to like create, like, and whenever I wanted to do something, I was like, Mom, I want to make this magazine. Like she gave me like the pens and markers and the computer access to like do it on Microsoft Word, and like, you know, she was always like,
do it. She wanted you to actually do it.
And same with my brother, like I'd get him involved on everything, and he wasn't like that like I was, but he enjoyed like being in on the little movies and monster movies and stuff. And I made a 20-minute monster movie when I was a kid with my old parents' tape high 8 camera, and like he's in it, and it's like 3 of my neighborhood friends, and it's like 20 minutes long. Wow. It's detailed, and I look back at it now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was so pathetic.
Is your brother older or younger than you?
He's a year younger.
Okay, 1 year younger. And his name's Derek.
Yeah.
How was your guys' relationship growing up? And how much did it change when he had open heart surgery?
Yeah, that's great. We've always been really, really close, and we shared a room all growing up. I don't think we ever had separate rooms until we moved in, like got to high school.
Wow.
So we're always super close. We shared rooms. Our bed had the same bedspread, like Phoenix Suns, like pillow, like everything. We did everything together.
You guys grew up in Phoenix, or I forgot to ask what part?
Tempe, okay. The Phoenix area. And it wasn't until I was a junior in high school, and then he was a sophomore, and we were going to finally be able to play on the basketball team together in high school. We had never played together, or we had played all growing up, but never like in high school, because, you know, there's the different freshman, JV, varsity, and just with me being a year older, he was always on the team below. But finally going into my senior year, he was supposed to be on varsity as a junior, and basically got like this call where he had to have open heart surgery. And from then on, it was kind of crazy because I actually missed the open heart surgery because I honestly don't even remember why, and it bugs me to this day that I can't remember why, because I was like, what if that would have been like, I would have never even seen my brother, like, because he had to come have the surgery out here with one of the top surgeons in the world, which was at Cedars-Sinai in California, in LA. And but yeah, after that, our relationship changed a little bit in the sense, like, I mean, I was just so protective of him. We'd go to play basketball and he finally recovered enough to where he could play basketball again, even though the doctor said he wouldn't ever play again. He ended up going on to win a state championship and whatnot, going to get a scholarship to a D2 school. But we'd go and like play basketball, and he was always a pretty good defender. He's pretty aggressive, and so people would get worked up in pickup games, like, bro, you better get your hands off me, bro. And I would just immediately come sprinting over and just like, what you say? Like, bro, you ain't touching him. I was like, you ain't touching him. Like, you're not getting up in his face, because you get in his face, you're getting in mine. Like, and so like, just with everything, I've always been super, always looking out for him, more so. And I feel like our relationship's been stronger because when he was going to school in Hawaii, I literally, almost every chance I get, I'm like trying to go out to Hawaii and hang out with him, and I've been out there probably like 10 different times now with him, like going to visit him and just go explore together. And
that's I just can only imagine how much that's going to change the relationship you have with him, because I have a younger sister, and it wasn't until I went to college. I mean, growing up, we didn't have any issues, we just had the typical stereotype, like brother sister talk shit a little bit. But it wasn't until I went to college where now I'm not seeing her on a daily basis, the relationship changes, because now it becomes this communication line, and we appreciate each other more. We're talking about things, and when I'm reading and I'm finding out that at such a young age he's having this open heart surgery, I'm sitting there thinking, how would have I gone through if I knew my sister had to have that?
It's crazy because I think when you're younger too, you don't realize the gravity of it. Like now, when he had to go back for his second open heart surgery, which I think was like 3 years ago now, which was again here in LA, not Cedars-Sinai this time, but somewhere in Santa Monica. I made sure I was there, and I was there for the few days like prior to him having to go in for the surgery, and I just remember like, I felt a different way that time than I did. Like I don't think I fully grasped the weight of the situation the first time around, because I was young too. Like I think he was 15, so I would have been 16, or I was 17, he was 16, one of those. And so I just don't think it fully resonated with me of how big that surgery was for someone, and especially at his age too. Like the type of surgery he gets, like people don't get till later on in their life. And so
do you think you missed out that first one because you were scared, like to be part of that process? I
think I was a little bit scared, but I also think I was probably preoccupied. I honestly don't even remember what I had going on. I don't know if it was like finals or something. There was some reason, because my mom and dad went, and my cousin, who was a little older, but like that, that was really it. So I don't know. I can't even remember what was going on, and it still always bugs me as to like why wasn't I there? I still don't even remember.
But you're there for the second one, so I mean,
and I'll be there for all.
There's not going to be any more, but if he ever needs it, you're going to be there. In high school, you end up making a pep rally video that everyone loves. Everyone's firing you up. You're the best, Jacob. Do you think...
where are you finding out all this stuff, man? You got your secrets.
I went and sent the Hail Marys.
That's funny.
Little punch back in, ladies and gentlemen. Little SD error. Shout out to GoPro. You guys should sponsor me. Okay, cool. Pep rally. Was that like a moment that you realized, okay, maybe I should follow this passion with film? Or
that was like my moment of like realization or clarity, like, this is what I'm gonna do, like, because I always loved, like I said, making videos. I was always making videos, and I was going to I was like shooting everything from, like I said, little dunk contests at home to like little action films at home, and then the football team approached me because they knew like I was friends with a lot of them. I didn't play football, but I was just friends with a lot of them, and they're like, yo, like, make us like a hype video, like, and I was like, all right, cool, like, and this is like before even like YouTube's big or anything, like, and it was just like, all right, cool. So I made them like this little hype video with my old little tape camera and put it together, and then we approached like the principal or the director or whatever, and we're just like, hey, can we play this at the pep rally before the football game, like And they said for sure. And so we played it, and literally like, you know, at the end, like they said that I did it and everything. And the whole day, like the rest of the day, teachers, students, everyone was just like coming up to me. That was so amazing, bro. Like, da 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 da. And they were just like hyping me up all day. And then a couple of the teachers were like, that was really, really good. Like, you should do that. Like that should be like, and that was kind of like my moment of like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Like,
were you already applying for Arizona State at this moment?
No, because this was early. This was like my freshman, sophomore year.
Oh,
so
wow.
I literally was just pretty new to high school, like early. And then they got a little video class program, film program kind of thing like my junior year in high school. And I was like one of the first group of, or I was the first group of students who was in that class with Mr. Cole. Shout out to Mr. Cole.
Shout out to Mr. Cole.
I've gone back and spoken a couple times to that class, but that's kind of like where I got my little start. I did the segment for the Thursday or Friday announcements where it was called Man on the Street. Okay. And I'd go around, and I wasn't filming. I would just go around and ask people like random riddles, like in between classes.
Was somebody
and
filming
stuff.
you?
Yeah, someone was filming me. I had a mic, and I'd go around and ask kids like certain riddles, like, you know, if a chicken lays an egg on the, or what was one of them? Yeah, if a dang it, I already messed it up. It's been so long. If a rooster lays an egg on the top of a roof, which way will it fall, north or south?
North. I don't know.
Why would it fall north?
I don't know.
You don't have any?
I have no idea.
Roosters don't lay eggs, and so
I'm
chickens.
stupid. I'm
Yeah.
stupid. We have
so
a rooster out here.
Yeah.
Damn
So
it.
I would just like do riddles
over my
or
head.
like hold up pictures of people and like tell me who this is and just like try and mess with people, and it was like the hit. Like everyone couldn't wait till like Thursday and Man on the Street, and after I left and graduated, they had it continue on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the second punch back in because GoPro and the memory card wants to screw up on the 100th episode.
Dang.
What's good with y'all? Anyway. Let's get into Arizona State.
All right.
So you go to Arizona State, you're walking in, you know you're going to do filmmaking.
Right.
Do you spend the next 4 years just all in on film? Are you balancing like the college lifestyle?
Right. So it's funny, before that, so I played basketball, and my coach asked me if I wanted to like go on to play basketball, because he was going to help me, you know, find a community college or something. I wasn't on the level of like a D1 kind of player, but like, so he was like, you know, I can help you get to the next level. Let me know, and we'll basically get you placed. And I like knew what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I knew I wanted to do film, so I knew ASU had a film school. It was relatively new. It wasn't anything exciting, but I had an in-state scholarship that was really good for my grades. It was close to home. Again,
I was waiting. I was seeing you were gonna say it.
I'm a homebody. I wasn't trying to go. I never had any interest to go across the country or go anywhere.
Didn't even slip your mind?
Not in the slightest. I was like,
you're gonna have to drag me.
I was
there.
like, I'm staying in Arizona, and it's like, even if I have to go to U of A, which I would never do, but I went to ASU, and yeah, I went to the film school there. But the first the first year, you can't get in as a freshman to the film school. You have to take like general education
just
classes,
the regular stuff. Yeah.
And then your sophomore year is the year where you can apply to the film school. So it's not like automatically like, oh, I'm in business. I don't know if it's different for schools where you're
schools you have to do like a year or 2 years, and then it depends on the school you have to apply. But I know I
had to like apply with like a short film, an essay, basically breaking down a film, and get like 3 letters from, you know, people that I guess had some, not a stature, but that were basically like could vouch for me as like, you know, a filmmaker or someone who would benefit from school, whatever. And I got in on my first try, and they only let in like a limited amount of people each time. And I knew a couple people who had like when we were interviewing, going through the process, he's like, yeah, this is my second time, or this is my third time. So I got in my first time, and film school at ASU was a unique experience, to say
What do you
the
mean
least.
by that?
I didn't adhere to their rules, and like I was different. I'm not your typical film dude, you know what I mean? Like I felt like a lot of them were so like artsy fartsy, and didn't like, I was doing I got into the music video thing and doing that for YouTube and stuff, and so my teachers would like, they didn't understand that or get that, and like would like call me out in class like, oh, you're not following the curriculum correctly, because I would like bounce to LA to shoot a music video that I was getting paid for, and like it would upset them, and you know, it just, I don't know, it was just, I have a really interesting story. So it was my junior year, I was taking cinematography class. I always sat in the back. I never said anything. I talked to like 1 or 2 people in that classroom. I wasn't really like friends. I definitely wasn't friends with any of them like outside the classroom, but I had those couple like in class
You're cool
friends.
with them. You're cool with them.
Yeah, and I would sit in the back, never say anything. I was quiet. Like I was off doing my music video thing for like Kyle, Futuristic, Samson, like the early days, and I would, you know, so I didn't really say much, and we had this for our final, we had to make our reel, our DP reel, and I was like using all the music videos I was shooting for like Kyle, Samson, Futuristic, SK4MC, and like putting that together, and that was my reel, gonna be my reel, and everyone else, like they weren't like working, you know, and then so they were kind of like choosing a subject of like flowers, and like the reel would be like cool shots of flowers, and you know, whatever their subject matter was, you had to choose the subject and stick with that. Mine was music videos. And so you had to sit up in front of the class, like during the final there was a TV up in the front of the class, and you'd sit up facing away from the TV looking at all your classmates watch your reel, and you'd have to like watch the reaction to it and then answer their questions or feedback or whatever afterwards. And I remember the first day went through, and like everyone was saying all this stuff like, oh my gosh, your reel was so good, I loved how this and that, and I just remember sitting in the back going like, that was bad, like that wasn't even good. Like they're just friends of each other, so they're like hyping each other up, and like I was like, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? And but I was quiet. I never wanted to say anything.
Yeah, you kept your mouth shut. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, and like again, it was very like, it was stuff like car out the window shots or like flowers or like people, like, and it was not anything of like, yo, this is a reel. This is like, this is shots.
You
like,
were in your own world.
Shots.
You were actually doing things.
Right. And so my turn comes up on the second day, or no, so that, mind you, that end of that first day, this guy goes up, shows his reel, and his friend was just like, boom, this was amazing. This, like, I love the control of the shot, whatever he said. And it was just not at all like that. And I literally, without raising my hand, I just blurted out from the back. I said, are you watching the same thing I'm watching? Because that sucked. And like, I just got upset that like everyone and everyone in unison just turned their heads and looked back at me. And the teacher was just like, well, Jake, like, do you have something, like, put that in constructive criticism? And I remember I was just like, I think you guys are just like hyping each other up because you guys are friends. Like, I don't see how your feedback to that was matched. Like, I was like, I don't understand. And like, and I just didn't get it. And so
it sounds like you were passionate very early on. You were taking it very seriously.
So day 2 comes up, the final day, and mine was showing, and mind you, everyone was like, lots of feedback, this and that. And I get up there, I show mine, and it ends, and it literally is just like, that's dead quiet. No one's raising their hand to say anything. No one, just, it's quiet. And the teacher goes, okay, I'll start. And this is the first time that happened. And you're supposed to start off with the positives and like then go into the criticisms after that. Of course. And she just started with the negatives. She literally just said, well, it felt a little all over the place. You know, you'd have some like very colorful shots here, and then it'd go to a dark shot. And like, and I was just like, stunned. I was just sitting in my chair like, this isn't real.
You're not seeing the same
like,
thing as me.
Yeah, well, I think it was just a bias that like, I don't know, and maybe the fact that I was kind of rude. I mean, I'll say that I was, and so she just felt like she was gonna also put me down. You know what I mean? And so, but then no one else said anything. One other person raised his hand, who was my like
your
boy, and he was like, yeah, that was solid, this, that, but it wasn't like one person said something outside of the teacher, and my turn was over. I went, sat back down, and after that class, we go out of the class. I'm waiting for my mom to come pick me up, and 3 kids come up to me after class, and we were just like, yo, so like, your reel was amazing. And they were just like, so do you like get paid to do this? Like, is that what you like, you shoot music videos for your job? And this, and I was just like, where were you guys 30 minutes ago? Yeah. And so just, I had experiences like that all throughout my film school with my directing professor. He called me into his office hours one day and told me he could fail me because I wasn't following his course well enough, because I was out shooting music videos
in LA.
And for my final, I was just going to turn in 3 music videos instead of do a short film.
Yeah.
And I was like, all these kids are spending hundreds and thousands of their own dollars to make a short film that's going to take them nowhere. I'm getting paid to shoot these music videos, and they're good, like for what they are. Like, I know I can be much better. And he was just like, honestly, they suck. And he was like, I could send them to 5 directors right now, I know, and they would all say it sucks. I promise you that's what he said. And I said, I remember sitting there saying, go ahead, because they don't suck. Because otherwise I wouldn't be getting all these views on YouTube. Yeah. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, and I was like, I have like a couple 100,000 views. Like, and he was just like, huh? And then he like changed right back into his like, yeah, like I could fail you and this and that.
That's
and
not right, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. So my whole film school experience was just kind of like that. And I was always bouncing, trying to shoot music videos and make it, like as a music video director, and with Kyle and Futuristic and Samson and SK and then DY and ultimately graduated. I didn't get failed. They didn't fail me or whatever. And he ended up
got the diploma.
He ended up apologizing to me when I showed like the final films, or final music videos, I should say. And then he asked me, like a few years after, still following to this day, he asked me to come back and speak to his directing class and stuff. And
I think as a college professor, no matter where you go, it doesn't matter film, doesn't matter for business, if you have a student that is actually getting work outside the classroom, they should be able to translate that into credit somehow. Because that's the best way to learn. We could sit here all day and watch videos.
I get questions all the time like, hey, man, like I want to go to film school, this and that. And I'm just like, bro, just go out and do it. Like, that's what I did. Like, yes, I learned certain things from film school for sure. But like, I got all my experience just from going out and doing it and learning and shooting. And YouTube tutorials and stuff wasn't even really that much of a thing when I was in college necessarily. Like, you could watch little things. Like, there was like Film Riot and some things. But it's like, I just kind of learned from just buying a camera, going out and shooting and learning and practicing editing, coloring. I would sit in my apartment in college and I'd wake up and be like, what could I do today? And I remember I'd set my camera up on a tripod, aimed it at my bed, and I literally would just like shake and like move in different ways and then move the camera. And I wanted to edit the best I could to like a weird nightmare-y dream sequence. And so I would like then take that footage and practice editing. All right, how can I make this seem like a crazy trippy nightmare that I'm having? And then like, boom, I wake up. I would do stuff like that all the time. I'd go out into nature and be like, all right, I'm going to make the coolest little short little video for YouTube or whatever on flowers and trees and work on my coloring and how to color it. Like, and then I would sit there at my computer and like, I was just doing stuff all the time, trying to like get better and go do it. I wasn't sitting in a classroom learning, oh, this is how you color, this is how you use it. Like, I just went out and
they can give you the tools and they can teach you on how to do certain things. But now with YouTube, especially with like you're saying with the tutorials, you just have to do it. Like, that's how it is with everything. Podcasting, YouTube, and that's how, making videos.
That's how you get it into the industry. Like, even with some of the kids that have been like working on some of my sets or been on some of my sets early on, like, are doing like some cool things now. And like how they got in, and I've even brought them on as shooters on some of the stuff I'm doing, or like they infiltrated by just getting on set and like being involved and doing it. They didn't get there by sitting in a classroom. Like, they literally got to that point because they're literally out there trying to do it. And so
people need to be smart about that too. They need to understand what seems so natural for me to understand, and probably you and for Kirk. You have to do stuff for free, like to get in the door.
All like the first 15 Kyle videos, all of Futuristic's videos, Samson's videos, all free. Didn't get a dime. And that's what built my YouTube channel. That's what built my reputation. That's what got people to buy the products I was then selling, because, yo, this guy makes dope videos. Like, I want to know how to make dope videos too. Like, it'll translate somehow. And I never went into it with the intention of like, oh, I'm going to do this to make money. It was just, I freaking loved making videos, and I wanted to make music videos. And I remember early inspiration was the Mac Miller videos on YouTube that was shot by Rex Arrow. And
oh my God.
And so like, that was like, I'm going to go find artists to shoot with, and I'm going to break into the music video scene.
Because that's probably right around the same time, like 2012, 2013.
And so I'd found, Futuristic I went to high school with, and so that was the easy one. But then went and found Kyle and found Samson, and then others started reaching out to me, like SK4MC and David. I reached out to DY at the time, my homie David Morris, and and I literally messaged him on Facebook and emailed him. I was just like, hey, he was shooting with Rex Arrow too, and I was like, hey, I can make you way better videos for less money. Literally, he saw the message and messaged me, and was just like, I sent him my reel, and was just like, which I used for that cinematography class, and sent it to him. And it was just like, here's the work I can do. I'll literally do a video for you for $100.
Wow.
Like, and he was just like, done.
Yeah.
Came out to AZ. We shot a music video. We hit it off really well, like just like as like friends.
Yeah.
But also he was just like, bro, you're also
actually
good at
what you do.
And from then on, he just shot all his videos with me. And it's like, had I tried to come out, I'm like, yo, bro, I could do a music video for $5, it never would have happened. And like then an artist, Hoodie Allen, saw the video I did for him, the one that I did for 100. It was well, not that one, but then I did another video for DY in New York called New York Times. And when we put that out, Hoodie Allen saw that video
and then wanted me
to do a video, and then I got a budget to do his video, and I still did it for a cheaper amount so I could put as much in the video as I want.
Yep.
And then the guy, that big time director who's directed all of like Soulja Boy's videos, a lot of Lil Wayne videos, OG in the game, Rage, was directing a Hoodie Allen video, and the edit came out terrible. And Hoodie Allen told Rage, which was like, "Yo, I got a guy who can edit it. Like, let me."
So
he took the footage back from Rage, gave it to me. I edited it. He's like, "Bro, I want to release this in a day. Like, can you get it done?" I was like, "I got you." I flew back. I was in Ohio. I flew back to Arizona. The drive was there at my front door. Picked it up, plugged it in, edited it, sent it to him. Later, literally after like 7 hours of editing, coloring, sent it to him. He's like, "Perfect." He released it that next day. And then Rage saw that and was just like, "Bro, who edited this and like colored it?" And he was like, "The guy I told you about." And then he brought me on to shoot a video for like Hit Boy. I was on set of Black Eyed Peas. I shot a video for Hit the Quan with him, and like I actually turned down the I'm in love with the Coco video that he did, but that was because it was before it blew up. Like the song wasn't even out.
So
he wasn't even popular. I heard the song and I was like, this is trash. I'm not doing it. And then it blows up. He texts me. He's like, here's what you turned down, motherfucker. And like, and it just like, I was like, ah, damn. And like,
I should have jumped on that opportunity.
I should have jumped on that. But no, again, I wasn't mad. I thought it was funny. And then I made a parody and put it on YouTube with
people
Futuristic, and it hit like 1 million views, and people loved it. And I was like, and I could have shot the video. Then I heard the song and said it was too shitty though. So I made fun of it, and you live and you learn. And the next one he hit me up was for Hit the Quan, and he was like, "Don't turn this one down." And that song was already popular. I was like, "Got you."
I got you.
And so went out and did that. But yeah, again, all that stemmed from this $100 video I did for David Morris, that I reached out to him and just was like, "Yo, let me do this."
Well, what I think is super amazing, you got today the Buff Nerds YouTube right now. Sorry, that thing sticks every time. I gotta get like glued down. You're sitting at 760,000 subscribers. You're over 251 million views. I went back 7 years ago. The first videos you had was with Futuristic, Kyle, who was KID at the time.
Right.
But what's so interesting to me is that the three of you, at least you three in this instance, are super successful in your own lanes.
Right.
And what was it about, like thinking back to then, what was it about you guys that allowed you to be where you are today? Because even I watched the after party last night, and I see your videos right on the movie.
And I didn't even know
for
about
a Netflix
that.
movie.
Shout out to everyone who didn't notify me about that. I had no idea. I was sitting there watching on the couch, and it popped up. I was like, "What?
That's my video."
Like, so
but how crazy is it to think 7 years ago when you guys are just making these? It's just it blows my mind, because all three of you are super successful, and that's not just luck. That's just like, what are the odds that the three of you start at the same spot and now you are where you are today?
I think it's a testament to a few things. One, collaboration. Just with, like, I'm shooting his stuff, he's giving me videos to shoot. Same with Futuristic. Like, we're all, and I'm not asking for money from them. They're not asking. Like, we're just all like, we just want to create stuff. So we just are all creating stuff. We're working together. They did a couple songs together. We shot those, and just building that up. But also just the work ethic of me, Futuristic, and Kyle. I feel like it's just bar none. Like, they're literally like, they don't stop along with me. Like, they're every day they're working on something, creating something. How can I had this conversation with Futuristic when we were in Europe, and he was just like, yeah, right now I'm trying to think like, what's one piece of like basically content or something that I can put out every week that can bring me value, whether it's monetarily or follow or whatever. Like, just his mind's always spinning, just like mine's always running. We're always eager to create, work on stuff, stay busy. Like, we don't function sitting still at home watching a movie. Like, I'd rather not sit at home and watch a movie. I'd rather go and create, build, do something that's gonna, and that's I don't know. So I think it's just that combination of all our work ethics was pretty much the same, and coming together, and then collaborating together and both those things together, just not, because there's a lot of people I see that that I started with that are nowhere really to be found now, because I look at them and they had a weak work ethic then. And
I was going to say,
and
so it's a work ethic.
And it's obviously, and I'll hit people up even today and be like, yo, do you want to come out to shoot? Like, budget's kind of low. I can still pay you, but not, what you're using. Nah, man, I'm busy. I'm working on, I'm trying to get this other thing going or this or that. And it's like, okay, or they're, I don't know. I've just always been the one to look at a situation and be like, rarely will I ever say no to it, because I'd rather, even if it's like, hey, we can't pay your full rate, but it's like, you never know where that job can lead. And there's been, like I said, all those videos early on were all done for free, and look where it took me. You know what I mean? And so you have to have the work ethic along with that, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with the idea of like putting in like your hours of, taking free work and making connections and whatnot, you have to capitalize that. You can't just like do some of those things here and there and like not capitalize on it. You know what I mean? You have to do the proper steps to capitalize on it. But ultimately it just comes down to work ethic. Like, people who really want it, who really do want it, like, can make it happen.
And I think you just have to.
You need the talent. You need the talent too. Like, 100%. You got to have the talent. Like, futuristic, very talented. Kyle, very talented. So you need that talent aspect. But if you have the talent, if you have the work ethic to go with it, that's the recipe.
There's nothing's gonna stop you.
Right.
But you have to, and that's the thing. It's like people have to assess that relationship. They have to assess if we invest in each other. You're bringing on the visuals, they're bringing the music. You come together, you collaborate.
Right.
Where could this take us?
Right.
Where could this take us? Because now, I mean, you guys all can.
And I feel like you have to just love it, right?
Oh, I mean, that's
we never got into it. Like, they were never doing music because like, oh, I want to make money. I was never doing videos because like, oh, I want to make money. I didn't even realize like the type of money I could make as a filmmaker or a creative or whatever. It was just something I wanted to do, and so that's what I feel like also made us successful, is because it never truly felt like work, because you always were just wanting to do it. And so it made us always constantly want to work on stuff, and ultimately then the success or money came or whatever. But if you go into the mindset of like, I'm doing this to make money, you're not gonna have the work ethic you would as if you loved it. And that's what it comes down to. It's like, you look at basketball players that have an inherent bodily just gift, right? Like, we had this basketball player in high school, I'm not going to name him, but like all the physical tools, but he didn't have the work ethic. It's like, and didn't go anywhere because of it. And it's just like, you gotta have them meet together and to grow. And
I think a lot of that too comes back to people's childhood. You know, how bad do they want it? Were they given a lot of things? Do they have to work for certain things? Sometimes I think that I take a step back and I just appreciate the environment that I grew up in, because there was enough food on the table, but it was also, you want that video game, go out there and bust your ass and make that money.
My dad would pay us a penny a push-up.
Oh,
like,
wow.
We didn't really get like I mean, we got allowance, but it was like $3 a week or something. But how we made our money was doing like he would pay us to work out, basically. He'd be you get a penny a push-up, so we do like 300 push-ups, get $3. And so I think that's created,
what you started putting on.
So that created like a work ethic and that fitness side, but also like, we'd have to work to like go buy the cards we wanted at the card shop and stuff. It was never just handed to us. And for sure. It's like, but we didn't grow up like wealthy by any means. So it's like, I think it's that fine balance of like, like you said, like I think even, I don't really watch Gary Vee, but I think I remember seeing a clip that someone sent me on Instagram, and it said something about he feels worse for the privileged kid that's handed everything as opposed to the guy that has nothing, because that guy has nothing, has to hunt, and he's hungry, and he needs to eat, whereas the other one is just like, it's just placed in front of him. So I totally respect that and get that mentality for sure.
I saw in an interview you had said once, not getting into my own head about the needs to be perfect, because even when you do that, it is still not going to be perfect. And I think a lot of time creatives, they tend to, overthink a lot. How do you battle not overthinking and deciding like, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'll do it? Because I know for a fact that, it's tough, right?
Right.
I can't even imagine, especially when you're editing videos, I could either do this, I could do this transition.
And I think that's what makes people slow when they're editing videos, because I have people hit me up, like I'll literally, I don't necessarily do it anymore, just because I have so many things on my plate, but I would get a video, we'd wrap around like 8 p.m., I'd go home, edit that thing till 3 a.m. It's sent, like, be done, like, upload it, and like send it to the producer or the artist, and you'd be like, bro, how? Like, and they were like, how do you get like stuff's done so fast? And I think one, it's because when I'm shooting, I'm shooting with a purpose. I'm knowing where everything's gonna go already, and like how I kind of see it playing out in my head. But two, making those decisive decisions and not like overthinking everything. Like so many people are like I don't know what clip I should place where, and they like, I think they like overthink things, and they scroll too much through clips, and they can't decide, and they kind of second guess themselves, and so then they put it off for a few hours, and they go do something else, then I'll do it tomorrow, and then the same thing, and it just kind of just keeps getting dragged out, and then next thing you know, it's like took 2 weeks to edit a simple little video. And I think it's just like, no matter how much time you spend on something, it's never going to be perfect. And I know I've a couple videos I went back and watched recently where it's like I spent a good amount of time like editing, re-editing, notes from clients, this and that. I'll watch it, a few weeks later, and I'm like, dang, like I don't like that, but everyone else watches it like, bro, it's amazing, it's so perfect. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, and so no matter how much time or energy you put into anything, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the way you ultimately wanted it maybe fully to be, that you saw played out in your head. Like, it's just, nothing will ever be perfect. So it's just like you got to get out of your own head in your own way, and just kind of put stuff out there, and not go like, and I think the problem is too is that if it feels great right now, you put it out there, whoever publishes it, 3 months you've learned so much, and then you look back and you're like, what the hell was I even because you're constantly growing, like as a person, as a creative, like you're just constantly growing in life. So what you do even a week ago, you're like, dang, I could have done that way better. Like,
and that was, speaking of creative, there was one piece of content you had made within probably the last 3 or 4 months. It was like the 60-second Instagram clip, and it was just about like being a creative and all these camera clips, and I don't remember what the piece was, but it
constant creation.
It was one of my eyes, one of the best things that I had ever seen you put out, because it's true. We are always overthinking, and there's so many different things that factor. It's just, why don't you just create what you think is dope, and then put it out there, and then move to the next, and then move to the next, and then and kind of assess as you get better with it.
No, 100%. I mean, it's just,
that's why it's crazy when I see what you're always shooting the series, and then you're shooting a music video, and I'm like, when does this guy step back and actually have time to creatively just think? Because you're always going. I don't know how you're able to do it.
People message me all the time. One of the biggest things, they're like, bro, how do you find time to even work out? Like, just because they're like, you're always doing so much stuff, and it's kind of even one of the reasons I made like my workout guide, like, because it was just like, I feel like fitness plays into the creative like mindset, and like where I've even got some of my best ideas or whatever is like in the gym, or when my like those endorphins are flowing and you get those creative juices, and it also just allows you to step away from computer and technology a bit and just grind out and sweat, and then you come back to it, but yeah, man, I'm just, my mind's always running, I'm always creating, and I kind of lost track of what the question was or what we were talking about.
No, but I mean, just to go off of that, like, one question I did want to ask was just that, like, how important is your health and fitness? Because I do see you working out all the time. I see you do consume really healthy foods. Would you say that
for the most part?
For the most part, of course, occasional cheat day, right? You always have to enjoy yourself. But do you believe that helps you operate to your full potential?
I do, like, because I like. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, people are always like, bro, how do you have so much energy? And I'm like, probably because I don't eat junk all the time and I work out. Like, and if I have more energy, I can get more shit done. Like, the more shit I get done, like, it feeds right into the creative element, and being, a creative and a filmmaker, or even just an entrepreneur, like being able to constantly like I wake up, like, there's a lot of people I know, they wake up at like 11 a.m. and it's like, that's when their day starts. And it's like, mine starts at like 6, you know what I mean? And I'm up.
Early bird gets the worm, baby.
Yeah. But also the better the physical shape you're in, and the more you work out and everything, the less you have to sleep as well too. I don't know if you know that, but like, you don't need as much sleep when you're in better shape. And I don't know, it's a huge proponent to my brand. Like, that's my brand, so I got to keep it up. But two, just like, I've seen how it's helped me in my productivity and, my daily life, but also as a creative and entrepreneur, everything. So it's like, it's super important to me, and I'm always trying to like help people get on that, especially my mom. My mom's always like, I'm so tired. I was like, Mom, if you would work out, you wouldn't be as tired. I had a long day at work, and so I don't know.
I also think too, you wake up with a sense of purpose.
Right.
You always have something to work on.
Right.
You enjoy
True.
your work.
Yeah.
And you're surrounding yourself with the right people. And I think sometimes that can help people wake up. What I've got better is just having a task before I go to sleep at night. Think of at least 3 or 4 things I need to get done the next day. So when my eyes open, there's not this hesitation of should I snooze? It's just nope. I know what I gotta do.
Right. I have a little document on my computer. It's just like a little text file that sits up in the corner and it says to-do list, and it just has like I type out like the things I need to do because one, it's that way it's always in front of my face. Like it's literally it's not off to the side somewhere. It's literally in front of my face all the time. And it just kind of reminds me of what I need to get done. But I always wake up in the morning and like, you know, I'm just like, boom, I get right to it. One, because like you said, like have a purpose. Like I'm excited to work on all the things that I'm doing. And that gives, you know, kind of drive and motivation, all these different things I got to do. But yeah, one of the biggest things I think to productivity is like having that to-do list like in front of your face all the time to constantly remind you like, hey, don't forget you need to do this today. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I mean, I feel like working out and just like being healthy, eating right, drinking like, and you don't even need to be like a crazy like vegan or anything crazy. I mean, I had In-N-Out last night, like a 4x4, crushed
Let's
it.
Go.
Crushed it in like 30
Sunday
seconds.
Cheat day, baby.
And so it's like I love cookies. I'm a cookie fiend, bro. I have cookies all the time. Like not all the time, but like
when they show up,
when they show up, I go ham. Like, but it's not like I go to the store and buy cookies to eat at home. Like I'm one of those people. Like if it's in front of me, like if I'm out somewhere and someone gets it or it's around like on set or whatever, I'll eat it. But I'm never gonna go to the store and buy like candy and buy the freaking junk food and like all that. I won't buy it, but it like so at home I'm good, and even when I'm out I'm pretty good. But if you put 6 cookies in front of my face, I'm gonna eat those.
You're going off.
Yeah, I'm
gonna
eat them. But so you can still enjoy life and eat those things, but you know everything.
The majority of it has to be good.
Yeah, everything in moderation. I have one blended like smoothie juice every day that I make from home. Like you can't get that Jamba Juice stuff where they put freaking sugars and ice cream and all that crap.
If it tastes too good, there's probably a reason for it.
Yeah, and so like I always I don't do it for the taste. I throw handfuls of spinach and fruits and chia seeds and like mushroom powder and beet powder and like all this crap, and mainly water as like the juice, and then like a splash of OJ. But like because orange juice is like, and any juice is just full of sugars.
Yeah, because it's
and you get enough sugars from the fruit that you're putting there anyway. So I just blend it up and I literally just down it in like 2 seconds. And then I
gotta go on the next thing.
On to the next thing. So I don't do it for the taste. I do it strictly just for health, and I feel like I call those my power smoothies, and I always have like one a day. Yeah. So.
One thing I really respect about you is how good you are with your money. At least from the outside looking in. You know, you own 3 houses, 2 of them you Airbnb. Yeah. You are selling PDFs left and right for people at a very, very cheap price, which is amazing. Like hats off to you, because you could charge, instead of $5, you could charge probably $25 and still get it.
Right.
So hats off to you for keeping it affordable for people. You want to buy a house in Hawaii before you're 30. Yeah. How did you learn to discipline yourself and invest money properly? Where did this come from?
I don't know, because as a kid I was just always blowing it on sports cards.
I think we all do as a kid. I think we all do as a kid.
But I think it was fun. I think it was when I first moved out to LA and I was on my own, and I was like, I started having to like, okay, I need to pay for all this stuff myself. Like, and so I realized like, all right, save this money every month, put this like, and I think it was that moving out here by myself, living in LA, I was like, where it started my whole like money management. Like, okay, I got to be smart and do this and that. What could I do to bring in money and then save this money? And especially like in filmmaking, like gear and tech and is always changing, and so people are always buying new cameras, or they'll buy 2 cameras and this and that. And I'm like, why do you need 2 cameras? Just buy one and use that money to invest in something that's gonna make you more money doing nothing. Like, you know. And so that kind of like, I think it was in 2015 when I bought my first house, 2015.
So you bought, how old are you? 25 at the time?
25.
You're 28 today?
Yeah, 28. Okay. So I
25, man.
bought that house, and then I remember I was like, I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna buy a house every year for the next 5 years, and so. But that was just a goal, and I want to talk about like goals and planning, because there's a difference between like goals and dreams, and but that was like my goal to do that. And then in 2016, I was like, all right, it's time for another one. So because I started renting that one out on Airbnb when I would like go to LA, and then it just started doing so well that I was like, all right, I'm buying another one. Like, and so pretty quickly after that one, I bought a second one in 2016, and then permanently just Airbnb'd both of those out while I would like be here in LA, and I'd have like my brother or my mom, or like a friend, like basically kind of run it, manage it, make sure it's clean and everything for the next guest, and would just pay them to take care of that. And then, so then 2017, I was like, okay, need another one. Like, but this time I was like, I want one that I can like live in, because like when I was going back to AZ for, I was spending most of my time here, but I was slowly kind of transitioning where I was spending more and more time in Arizona. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I need like a place. And so, I bought the house that I live in now. I bought that house and, bought that one, rent out the other two permanently, live in that one in Arizona when I am there. And then I have a spot here with a bunch of homies that we rent out. It's just like a creative household. Yeah. And then, but yeah, so
that means you're up to buy it this year, dude.
I got
you got a couple months, man.
I was thinking either Hawaii, or I might save that. I don't know if I want to do that one right before, or if I just get it out of the way.
I just want to get there. That's why.
But the only problem I'm looking at that one is like, all right, I would have to like find some company to like either manage it for me, or I just leave it as is and use it as a vacation. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. So I don't know what month is it? August?
Yeah, you got a couple months.
September.
You got a couple months, man.
But that's what happened the second time. Actually, no, it was the second time. So I bought the first one, and the second one I just squeaked in before the new year rolled around. And but yeah, no, we'll see. But that was definitely like a goal I had set out. And I remember at the beginning of this year, we had my girlfriend's family for New Year's. We all sat down, and they do this thing. They invited me over. They do this thing where they get a big piece of paper and they write out like, I think it's like 5 goals. But under those goals, they write out the steps of like, okay, how would you reach this goal? Because it's one thing to be like, oh, I want to become an NBA player, right?
Okay, what are the steps?
All right, what are the actual like tangible steps that you could take that would allow you to potentially get to that goal? And so it's like, all right, I need to train for 3 hours every single day. I need to, like, you have to lay out the steps and have a plan of action of how you're going to achieve that goal. And so that was like something I wrote out these goals, and I think, let's see if I can remember them. One of them was buy a new house, which I did.
Yep.
The second one was visit 5 new countries, which I did. The other one was reach 100,000 followers on Instagram. Getting close. Getting
down the wire.
The other one was hit $100,000 in sales on like my personal online products, which I did.
Amazing.
And then the other one was, what was the other one? Dang, I'm blanking. I don't know, but I think I hit that one too. I think the only one. Oh no, it was hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which that one
took a little bit of time.
Yeah, and it's tough to do that now.
I mean, you upload consistently, and I think that'd be the formula, right?
Right. So that would be your plan of action to achieve that goal. Like, okay, if your goal is to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube, how are you going to get there? Okay, weekly upload. I can't miss a week. I need to upload at least once a week. Okay, what's the content that I'm creating that's going to allow me to gain subscribers?
Really break it down.
Break down your plan of action of, okay, this is how I could potentially reach this goal. Rather than, because it's one thing to say, I want to lose 20 pounds. Yeah. Or how are you going to do that? Like, okay, that's a goal. Like, give me your plan of action of how you're going to reach that. Yeah. And so I feel like a lot of people, they just make these goals, but don't have a plan of action of how to attack it. Like, I was just talking to my friend Will the other day. He's like, bro, you're 100% right. He's like, I had a goal that I wanted to make $100,000 for the first time in a year for my life, like in a year span. And he's like, I had no plan, and I never made any plan. And he's like, I'm so far off. And it's just like, I didn't create a plan or a guideline for myself of how I was going to reach that goal. I said it was a goal, but I did nothing about it. Yeah. So I think that's crucial, is like coming up with the steps to, how you're going to reach that goal you want to reach. Like, that's
people got to be realistic with themselves and what's actually achievable. Because I do believe in, sometimes you got to aim so high that it feels almost impossible to reach because it just keeps you working. But you still have to have some goals that are going to be attainable, because that's what fuels you to keep going. Because these little milestones, I imagine buying that first house or having $100,000 in sales on your merch, like, you see it happen. You're like, okay, well, if I can set my mind and do this, I could go bigger. I could buy that house in Hawaii.
Right. And I remember early on when I was moving to LA,
was that tough too for you? I didn't really get into it.
I called my mom after they helped me move out. And like a week into it, I called my mom. I cried. I called my mom. I remember sitting on my loft, like up in the loft area on the couch by myself.
Yeah.
Because that was the other thing. I've never lived more than 5 minutes from home. My parents lived like 5 minutes from ASU.
Where you live, the house you live in now too is still 5 minutes?
Yeah. So it's like literally, I am 6 houses down from my parents. I bought a house in their neighborhood.
No way.
So,
no way.
But so when I moved to LA, like it was like completely just shock to me. Like I was in shock, and I remember I called her crying, and I was like, Mom, I think this was a mistake. And she was like, just tough it out, blah blah blah. And because I was very much like a homebody, like I didn't like to be away from home, and I just felt like so far away from home, even though I'm really not that far. I was like 6-hour drive, and it was rough, but just trucked through it, and it all worked out. But I forget what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something before that, but
it's about LA. Sorry, I kind of threw you off because then I asked you something about
I'm not really sure. Dang, it's all good.
I got another question. Within LA, what do you think changed the most about you within? Because you lived out here how long for full time? It was like 3 years or so?
Yeah. Probably because 2013, probably 4 years actually, till like 2017. Because this was the first year that I've been like
going
4 or 5 of the months have been in Arizona, and like it's been like sporadic days in LA. So
what do you think?
4 years.
Aside from obviously living out here, this is where the work happens, obviously, so it's great for you. But how do you think living out here has helped you grow as a person, or creatively?
I mean, it's helped me like as a person probably just be more considerate to people, I guess, too, in a way. I just see how, and also like loving and caring to my friends and family, because I just see how much fake stuff goes down out here, and how just like kind of just evil and rude people can be. And so it's just like, and that's another reason I love living in Arizona. I just feel like just people as a whole are just much more down to earth, and so just kind of realizing that and being like, I never want to be that person that's like rude, mean, disgusting, like to anyone, whether it's a friend, a fan, anyone. Like I don't want to ever. So just probably as a person, that's probably the biggest thing.
It's a wake-up call being out here. It's just a cutthroat. I mean,
very
but
cutthroat. Obviously
once you have that network of people that you're good with, or the people that are going to work on your sets, you can kind of stay away from that stuff. But especially this is going to be a year marker for me in the next 2 weeks of being out here. And
really?
It was a refresher. I mean, thank God I moved out here with one of my best friends that I grew up with, so I had a shoulder to lean on.
Tried moving out here by yourself. Like,
I can't even imagine.
Like even futuristic, like he was really struggling with the idea of moving out here, and I was like, bro, like just move in with me. Like he's like, I don't know, like it was a scary thought, even for him to even move in with me, and so it I remember that just being like it was kind of like one of the worst years of my life, but also like one of the best years of my life, because it's like some amazing things happened, and it ultimately set the tone for what my career would be, but at the same time, it was like just something I'd never.
You had to go through that to get to clearly set yourself up for these relationships.
Right, and bro, I've been through some crazy situations with like, oh man, I was just telling this story last night. Like the situations, I feel like a lot of people coming up now, not just the video or filmmaking space or creative space, but any kind of industry or space, are a little soft and a little, their work they expect everything to just happen right away, overnight, and if they don't get instant results, it's like, all right, on to the next thing. What else could I do? Or I didn't see results. And it's like, how long I've been like kind of working and grinding. And some people, it happens pretty quick, but a lot of people just think it should happen instantly. And I've been in some sticky situations with like videos that I was doing when I was shooting everything by myself on my 5D, and I was flying out to St. Louis to shoot a video for Huey, and I'm in the hood, and there's freaking like, I get put in a situation where like someone rips open the door and like pulls a gun out of the glove box and like runs off, and was just like, don't want you all riding dirty. And I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, wow. And I was, I don't know, maybe 20, 21 in college still. And just like, I went through a bunch of situations like that to ultimately try and get to where I was. But like, I've been through some ish, but like, I feel like a lot of people just think they should never have to like really struggle or do some stuff they don't want to do, or do jobs, I should say, that they don't want to do, because I don't need to do that. I should automatically be like doing stuff of this level. Like, and it's like, man, I grinded on some crazy, the first time my homie that I live with now here in LA, Sam King, never met him before, didn't even know what he looked like, but I flew to Vegas to shoot 2 videos with him, pull up to the airport, and again, didn't even know what he looked like, rolls up, big old black dude, dreads, and he's like, what up, I'm Sam. And I'm just like, oh shoot. He's like, we gotta go handle some business. Let's walk and talk. And I was just like, what is not again.
What am I setting myself
And so
up
we
to?
start walking. He starts telling me his phone just got stolen last night. And he went home because he had to get in contact with me, and like all his like notes and stuff were on there from all like his lyrics and all his business and stuff, and even the ideas for the video. And he's like, I went on Craigslist last night, found my phone at 3 a.m. like down to the T, the description, the OtterBox, the gigabytes, didn't have the original casing or the box, like all this stuff. He's like, so we going to get my phone back, and I'm just like, oh my god. Again, I'm like 21 or something, 20 right, or maybe no, actually I was younger. I think it was 19 at this time. And so yeah, we literally go to do this meetup at Jack in the Box where he's meeting the guy, and he has his cousins go in to play the buyers, and we're sitting in the car like slouched with his manager, and he's like, I bet it's some Asian kids. Like I saw some Asian kids at the karaoke bar we were at last night. They were sitting by my table, and that's where he had left his phone on the table. And sure enough, like this Asian kid pulls up in a car and like pulls in. He's like, that's got to be him. And the car then like pulls out and like leaves. And he's like, he's spooked. Let's go. His manager we're now chasing this car down like Las Vegas, like some busy street. And we come to this major intersection, like very busy, broad daylight. And the kid's car is the front car in the intersection. And we're right behind him, and we're like parked. And he's just like sitting there, like doesn't know what to do, just hops out of the car, runs up, bam, 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 like slams on the one, rips the door open. You just see him like, bah, bah, like throw a few punches. I'm like sitting back there like, dude,
you just got to meet.
I just met this dude. I was like, what is? Oh gosh, mom, I wish I was home right now. Like click my heels and go home.
You went there
and
some stuff.
He like reaches over. I see him like reaching. He comes back, jumps in the car, and he just goes, woo! And he goes, got my phone. And I got his, and he literally stole his phone too. Stole it, and like and then he's like literally like, now let's go shoot some videos. And I was just like, oh
wow, that sounds like a movie. Just like,
bro,
didn't miss it.
We've always talked about it. Like, bro, we need to recreate that scene somehow, and like film it and like have us narrating it or something, like, and do something funny with that, because it was like a movie. Like, it was wild.
You know what's tough is that we see the end result, or we hear the stories.
Right.
Like we see who Jacob Bowens is today, killing it, got houses, doing on these big sets, doing docuseries. You're doing it all, but we don't a lot of times get to hear the back end of all these like types of stories, and that's when you really just learn that the only thing, and it's so cliche, the only thing that separates somebody from getting to your level is just putting their head down and just working. Right. Like, jumping on every opportunity.
Yeah. All those things. Had I not done that, one, I wouldn't have built those relationships, which ultimately Sam now produces a lot of my music videos and content, but he was also a stepping stone for my reel. And he was one of the ones I turned in for my class final, one of his music videos. And I used that in my reel, and it was a good video that I used to try and land bigger artists. And it's like, all those were necessary, like, grinding steps to get to where I was. Like, I would have never got anywhere had I not done those grinding out years or trying to build on small wins and get to where I'm at. So I don't know. I'll get messages like, hey man, like on Instagram, been doing video for like a year and a half now, haven't really gotten anywhere. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, can you give me any input? And it's like, bro, like, what? Like, a year? Yeah. That's only 365 days. You gotta be kidding me. Like, it takes, you gotta have a stronger mind or work ethic than that, and know, like, it's gonna take a lot more time than 1 year to do anything, to get, like, I was just talking to my girlfriend about, like, flight attendants, and she kind of wants to become a flight attendant, so we get free flights everywhere. Of course, right? And she was like, like the whole from application, interviews, to the training, to actually landing the job, she's like, it's like a year process almost. And so
my roommate just became a flight attendant.
Oh, really?
He was working baggage for Southwest here in Burbank.
Okay.
And I think he was like showing interest, and it took almost 9 months. And he's already in the system. He's already working for Southwest, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, a year, and you're talking, like, to even like land a certain job like that, it takes almost that time. You know what I mean? So it's just, I feel like more so because of the era of like Instagram and social media, like because Instagram when I was in college was like you just shared personal photos. Yeah. It wasn't the business it is now. Like Instagram is literally a business now, and like so it was like you just shared your personal photos and it wasn't even a thing. And so, but I think the more it's become so like look what I'm doing with my life and like business and like all this stuff, like when these good positive things happen to people were like, oh, that should happen to me too, like, and so then when it doesn't instantly happen, they're like like I need to find something, like they're just, I don't know, it's that instant gratification that it's built in a lot of people, and I think it's made a lot of people's work ethic or mindset, I should say, more so just like weak, I guess.
You gotta be willing to put in those hours and see that people didn't just wake up and be Jacob Owens. They actually had to they actually
and
had
even
to put their
with
head down
futuristic
for it.
It's like and a lot of these artists, even Macklemore talked about it one time in an interview where he's like, I didn't make it overnight. Like, because people were like, oh, overnight success. And he's like, bro, I've been doing this for 15 years. Like, you know, and then the one song popped. You know what I mean? So it's just like, even with Kyle, it's like, it wasn't like, you could say it was an overnight success in the sense of like, he went from the popularity he was then to bam, just nationwide, pretty much instantaneously. But I mean, he was grinding for years just like me beforehand. So it's like, there's no like overnight success. People are working behind the scenes for a while before they see that growth.
And for me personally, Kyle was one of those artists that I felt like I had seen that full thing. That's probably he was probably the first person I started to come across your content with, because I got intro to him right when like Beautiful Loser came out. So for me to from afar see that transition and see him go from just making music and putting out mixtapes to then literally last night watching him on Netflix, it's putting in the work, right? Like there's no other way to say it than you guys have done it. You've been doing it and you're gonna keep doing it. And who knows what? I'm sure one day you'll have a movie that'll be out there on Netflix, and it's just those baby step processes.
Well, that'll happen one day.
I know.
We'll say it right now.
I got two fan questions. One's from Alan. He wanted to ask, what's been the biggest struggle you faced in the freelance world?
Biggest struggle I'd face probably the downtime, like, because with me it's like, again, I'm such like always got to be doing something, that early on when I had a lot of downtime, like that would like bug me, but I did a good job of like battling that with like, okay, what could I do that would, you know, keep me busy. And so like then that's when I started like working on like behind the scenes YouTube videos and doing the tutorial stuff and writing my own guide and manual, like taking that downtime and turning it into something positive. Because as a freelancer, you're gonna go through moments, or even as a Hollywood director, like a big time actor. I was just at a Stranger Things like private screening thing, and the Hopper, the sheriff in the show, he did this Q&A, and he was talking about, he was like, I hadn't done anything like noteworthy for like year and a half, 2 years, and it was kind of like, oh, maybe I'll like slow down, and he has a wife and everything. It was like, we do, and then all of a sudden this opportunity happened, and they didn't even know it was going to be big. They just shot it and it came out and was huge, and he's like, now it's just,
that's his career. Just like, I mean, that's just,
but even at that level, it was just like, what do I do now? Like, do I, you know? And so just taking that downtime and or moments between jobs or whatever, and figuring out like what can you do to be productive, whether it's just working on yourself personally, like that type of productivity, or, you know, for your work, you know what I mean? And so like whenever I'm not shooting a TV show or directing a music video or whatever, I'm always like working on something else, whether it's something for like, you know, Tropic Color or any of these other little YouTube behind the scenes, or like guides or manuals that I can put out, or helpful information. Like I'm always just like, I always have something to do, or I'm always thinking, all right, what could I do next? And then when I do think of that, then I start working on that. And then next thing you know, TV job pops up for, you know, a couple months. And while I'm doing that, I'm also still doing it. So it's like, trying to think of something to do between that downtime, and then you won't ever feel like you have downtime. And then you get to pick when you want your downtime. You'd be like, all right, man, I'm going to freaking Bali for 2 weeks. I ain't doing shit. I'm just going to go chill on the beach and ride around.
But even then,
like,
you're still working even when you're over there, bro. I cut you. I'm like, this guy's shooting and he's on vacation.
Bro, on this last Hawaii trip, I was on vacation. I was shooting a music video. I was shooting content for aerial stock. I was creating a promo video for Tropic Color, because all this content we're using for different pieces for all these different things. I literally was like working on four 4 projects at the same time. I was just climbing waterfalls and jumping into pools.
You
and
love
stuff.
it, though.
So no, it's fun. Like,
it.
again, like I like doing it so it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's moments where it's like, okay, I got to get the shot. Like, I can't, but ultimately it's still like, I want to bring my camera. Like if you told me like, yo, Jake, you get to go to Hawaii, but you can't bring your camera, I'd be like, dang, really? Like, that sucks. Like I would, I might have to pass. I might have to pass on that one. Like I genuinely want to film my experiences, because I also look back, even when I just had a little GoPro, the first time I went to Hawaii with my brother, took a GoPro and documented the whole thing with no intention of like, oh, I'm trying to make social media content or anything. I just did it because I wanted to, bring a camera. I liked to have a camera and document. I look back, whenever I watch that video, man, I look back and I just get like all warm inside, and like I just think back to the memories we shared, like the things we talked about on that trip, just the period that at the time we were in our life, like, and it just makes me feel good. And so I love like always having a camera for that reason, and I think that'll be cool for a lot of kids and generations to come, like being
everything is documented nowadays. Everything is being documented.
Like, so even like when I have kids, it's like, go on YouTube, subscribe to me, little Jake, and go watch your dad, like, so I don't know, I just
always got to be creating.
I was always we were there vacationing, but at the same time working on like 4 or 5 things.
I love it.
But it didn't feel like I was, it was still just fun.
You gotta always be pushing and trying to create something, right?
Like, but like literally, and I'm always like, I never like, one of the great things about being like your boss or your entrepreneur, or have your own business, like you get to create your own schedule, and you create what you want to do, and you build your own time around what you want to do, but you also never get a day off. Like you're always like, even when I'm in Hawaii, I'm getting, the emails for, bookings and that. And most of the time, like when I'm there, I shut a lot of that off. Like, and I literally just focus on what I'm doing there. Like I won't respond to emails. I'll respond to certain texts, but I pretty much try and shut it off and just focus on what I'm doing right there. Cause that's present, like enjoy it. Be present, enjoy it. And get, like, when I'm outside of LA, like that's my time to, or like Arizona even, like that's my time to just kind of,
break away from the social media and just focus on what you're doing.
But yeah, just always freaking creating, always doing that.
Second fan question from Ray. How do view counts shape the way you create? How has it changed over your career?
That's a good one, because it used to be popping and now it's just not. Like, in the way the landscape of YouTube has changed, and just, we used to average, like, on the Buff Nerds, like 10 to 15 million views a month, and now I think it's like 1 to 3 or something. Like it changed dramatically, and then but it still has not stopped me from creating content, because again, I like to do it. I like when I put stuff out, people are like, yo, this helped me so much, or I learned this, or like, I enjoy doing it, even though I don't get really any views anymore on YouTube. Like, it's mainly just all through like Instagram and just other stuff. And again, my career is in a different point where I'm working on big budget productions, which is where I always wanted to be when I was just a little YouTuber. So it's like, I still do it on the side just because I sincerely enjoy doing it. I like to see the feedback from people when it's like, yo, this helped me, or this or that. And I use it also as a way to get my business out there in my different companies or products or whatever. But I'm not sitting there thinking like, okay, how can I create content for views right now? I don't know. It's just,
you're basing on what you think is going to be good content for yourself, right?
Good content for myself, for the channel, for the followers of the channel, like people who would appreciate it. Whereas, a couple years ago, it was like, all right, how can we get the most views? Like, you know what I mean? And like, even with Futuristic, when we were doing the Do It music video, it's like, let's get Lexi Pantera and have her twerk in it. Like, because she was popping, like, views.
Get her in,
what I mean? And it worked. But it's just, in a different place now. YouTube's in a different place now. And so,
you also got into it at the right time, because now everybody's uploading, right?
Yeah, so and that's the other thing. It's
competitive.
It's extremely saturated and competitive. So I kind of got in at a good time as well. But yeah, for a lot of people who are maybe trying to just start YouTube now, it's like, it's rough, because not only does it, like, it pays way less now, the algorithm's kind of all freaking messed up. Like, people aren't getting notified even though they're subscribed when they're uploading videos like they used to, and just all this messed up stuff. On top of all that, it's every single one's doing it. I mean, I have my my girlfriend's mom was like, hey, can you maybe help Malaysia? She's starting like she's like, I don't know, like 6 or something. She wants to start her own YouTube channel. It's like everyone's creating some YouTube channel, you know what I mean? And so it's just like, yeah,
it's a great world that we can now just create like that.
Right.
Just out with a cell phone, you can
Right.
start a YouTube channel, but
Right.
then it, obviously, like we're talking about, it just becomes this competitive place
just
of so many people that you have to find ways.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that used to, or not a lot of people, but I know, some people that they used to, that was their straight livelihood, and like they focused on that super heavy, and they would get, tons and tons of views, and now it's like they've shifted because it's like they'll upload a video and it just doesn't do
hit
what they used to, and also so yeah, it's the whole landscape has kind of changed. I think one, because of YouTube has changed, but also just so many people are doing it.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's important though. You can't just put all of your time and energy into one thing.
Well, I literally just said this on my Instagram yesterday, and it was basically, I can't remember what the quote said. I might have to look it up, but it was basically like you have to learn to adapt and adjust like with your career and your surroundings and what you're doing, because just because you're hot 1 minute, I promise that will not last. It will always fade away, and you have to learn how to like adjust and adapt to the changing landscape, whether it's filmmaking, friggin' architecture, whatever it is. The landscapes are always changing, and you have to stay relevant or stay hot or keep on the growing up scale. You have to learn how to like, okay, how can I adjust with this, and that's like super important. And you can even look at that from an artist standpoint, a musical artist or anyone. And so it's important that you're constantly trying to learn to adapt.
And that's why my hat is off to Futuristic, because he's a smart man, and I see what he does with the Sheesh World House, with bringing in artists, and now he's co-signing artists, and that's
an example of someone adapting
that I respect about that man. Is he's a hustler, and once again, you two, you know what I mean? It's like it's funny that both of you come up together, and you both are smart in both of your lanes, and it's.
I think we like both like we kind of subconsciously pull ideas from each other and stuff, because it's like, I've always written my books and guides and manuals, and then he comes out with his book about how to become a rapper. And I was like,
I inspired. So I'll take 1% on the inspiration.
No, it's like you see what each other are doing and how you're being successful in your own ways, and you kind of take from that too. But yeah, he's an extremely hard worker, and like his mind is always spinning on. And again, I don't think you need to go to, like, I feel like business a lot of the time is just creativity, like, and thinking creatively and outside the box. Like I didn't go to business school. Like I mean? Yeah. And it's like, like I know this one other guy who went to business school too. And I just feel like a lot of business is just being smart, but also like creative in how you approach things. And like I had a couple of my friends were like, bro, you're such a smart business dude. I'm like, dude, I don't look at it as like that. It's just creative marketing and like just like I don't know, but just thinking outside the box a little bit on things, and not being so locked into like,
this is the one way I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make music videos, and that's the only thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try all this stuff.
And you have to diversify, and that's another reason I got into the houses and stuff, because I was like, okay, what if one day all this video stuff for whatever reason dries up, and like, no, I never get a call again for anything video related. Like, what's the backup? Okay, well, if I'm have heavy investment in real estate, I'm good. Genius. Like if I have this other company over here, I'm good. Like you have to be able, I mean, to have a backup plan or some, not even a backup plan, but like something to kind of fall back on that can hold you up. I mean, even my uncle, he was a director in Hollywood, did the Mummy Returns, Van Helsing, did some big movies. I didn't even know this till later on in my life.
Really?
I was on a couple movie sets with him when I was probably like 19, right before college. And, but he did all these movies as a second unit director, so he would do all the action sequences, like I think it was after the movie I went to G.I. Joe. It was one of the G.I. Joe movies, and then after that movie he didn't get a call for like 3 years, and then he was like, I need to do something. Started teaching at Azusa Pacific, and now it's been 10 years later and still hasn't done a movie. Now he's a teacher at Azusa Pacific. But it's like, that was someone who that arguably the top level of the game. You're directing Hollywood films, and it went it stopped. You know what I mean? It kind of fizzled out, and so, but there was no other like, had this kind of investment or thing. It was just like, all right, now teach. So, and no talk to him. He's a great dude and great director, and he deserves deserves work for sure. Like, but.
Some things you can't control, right? But you can control setting yourself up for that.
I say all that to say, like, that's an example of someone who was at the top, and it can happen to that person, and it will happen to anyone at the top. So you have to be smart about your money. You have to be smart about just your career, your investments, other things you're doing. Don't put all your eggs into one basket, because at some point it could stop. Like, it's just, I don't know. So that's one thing I also, like, kind of realized. I don't know how far, probably when I bought my first, I don't know when I, like, kind of realized that and started like, okay, I'm gonna be smart about this. Instead, like, I have friends that buy like 3 cameras, like, we'll have 2 Reds and Area Lex and all this. I'm like, buy a house. Yeah. Why are you spending money?
That's what, $30,000 camera?
No, more. Like, if you're buying an Area, that's like $70,000. So you're spending $70,000 on an object that's gonna depreciate. You know what I mean? And you could probably make money using it or renting it out or whatever. But in the short, like, even for example, with my first house, in the short span that I've owned it, I think it's been 3 years now. The value in that neighborhood and alone, like, they're all kind of like the same. They're not the same model, but they're all relatively, a lot of them are similar floor plans and stuff. And my mom, she's a realtor, so that helps.
Definitely helps.
But she looked into it, like, what the houses in that area are going for now, what one recently just sold for that has my same floor plan and stuff. And it's going for they're going for $40,000 more than what I bought it for. It's like, I've made $40,000
on top of what you're making on the mortgage.
On top of what I'm making on the mortgage, doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just letting it sit.
And you're out here buying 3-4 cameras. Like, it's just, I don't know. So it's like, I could buy a bunch of cameras and gear and all this stuff, but it's like, to me, that's not smart. Like, I just see the value in all the other things, and investing in other people or my own companies or my own stuff, or, you know, how the housing market. Or I wanted to, with Futuristic, I don't know if we'll still do it, but we wanted to start this restaurant. Not so much a restaurant, I shouldn't say restaurant, but it's kind of like a Chipotle type size store, where it's like you go in and you get it's not like I don't know if you would call it Chipotle a restaurant,
but like a fast food, but not
right, casual fast food place kind of thing. For this idea I had, and we were talking about it in Europe, and it's like, that's an idea we've been having. It's like, all right, let's put some money into this. And the wheels are always turning for stuff outside of film as well.
And that's the key, is once you can get some financial money to back it, that's when you can start having fun with these things. But you need to, people, including myself, when I can gather the funds and finally make that first investment, then make the second, then I feel like it gets a little bit easier because you have some money to work with. But if you're not setting yourself up for that to happen, it's never going to happen. You know, maybe in 10 years from now, you own a whole apartment plaza. You know what I'm saying?
I was joking with my mom the other day. I was like, Mom, I'm going to be a real estate mogul.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like,
I believe
it's not something I want or would like, I was like, I want to do that. But it's like, I was like, I might end up being that, you know, I don't know. So, because she hit me out the other day. She's like, hey, I might have another investment opportunity for you. And I was like, all right, what is it? Shoot. So, you never know. But again, and it was, you know, I never initially got into it because I was like, oh, I want to make money doing it. I bought the first house because I wanted a house. I just threw it up on Airbnb because I was leaving town, and it happened, and started renting it. I was like, oh, this is cool, like, and paying my mortgage for me or whatever. And then I was like, oh, I'll buy another one, do the same thing. But it was never like, yo, I'm about to go ham and just like make hella bread doing this, or that was my intention. It was just like, kind of like, one would feed the other, and it was by happy accident. Then one would feed that one, the one feeds, and so. And again, like, I'm not sitting here going, okay, I'm going to be a real estate mogul. I'm plotting it out. Like, this is how I'm going to make money. It just kind of slowly is happening because, you know,
you're seeing the results from one house, buy the second, buy the third.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
What scares you the most?
Not reaching to the full potential I think I could, like, reach. Like it's always been my dream to, like, for example, direct a feature film that, like, when families one day go to watch them, I went to high school with that kid, like that's Jacob Owens, like, to be on the silver screen, and like I know I'm absolutely capable of that, but like my biggest fear is like never getting there, like, because that's always been my dream since I was a little kid, and like if I can't achieve that, that'd be like the biggest, probably, like, the thing that scares me most, probably not getting to like do ultimately what I have dreamed of doing since I was a little kid.
Well, you were talking about goals earlier, so that's a goal. What do you think? What are the steps do you think you need to take to get there? What's holding you from making this happen?
I mean, I think it's slowly but surely happening. Like there's little signs here and there. It's like, all right, I'm headed in the right direction. Yeah. But I'm never like, I'm not gonna try and like force the issue where it's like, all right, I'm dropping everything and I'm gonna try and go like intern at a studio or make this connection with this dude, and just like I'm just doing what I do, doing what I love, and I keep seeing little signs of like people like on the set the other day, someone was brought up. They're like, Jake, you like horror films? Like, because someone was talking about it, like a friend of mine to her, and I was like, yeah. She's like, dude, I have a guy that like loves horror films and was like looking for scripts. Do you have one? I was like, I actually have a really good, like little things like that. And she's like, send it over. And it's like, so it's like little things like that. Like I'm not gonna actively go out and like crazy pursue it like to the point where I drop everything and like try and make that but I'm doing the necessary things that like
are setting you up for
that are setting, and I see it like happening and working. But my goal is always, or one of the things I've always said is like I don't have like a detailed outline plan of like what my future should look like, because everything's so unpredictable. I always just try and focus on the task at hand, do the job that's at hand, do it well, which leads to the next one. It's kind of how my whole career has been. Like I've never been like, oh, I want to, I have to direct this video, a $100,000 video for Chris Brown, and then my life's been focused around getting to that moment. It's just always been like, if that happens one day, it's going to be a byproduct of like all the like me doing the right little things to get to that moment. But I don't focus on in the future of like, in that sense of like zeroing in on one little thing like that, and like, because then your mind just becomes consumed with it and you can't like think or do anything else, and you can't be as creatively free because you're just like so worried about that end result and the future and what does the future hold. And people are always constantly like, not constantly, but they message me pretty often like, yo, like I don't know what I want to do. Like I feel like I'm so far behind, and I have this grand vision for my life, and I'm like, stop that right there. Like, great to set goals and know where you want to be, but like you need to stop focusing and zeroing in on that. And what can you do right now in today to take one step further to ultimately maybe reach that goal? Like, what's the one thing? Like, go get on a film set, like message someone that you admire, via Instagram, and don't stop until you end up on a film set. That's step one. Then you meet someone who's going to bring you on another one, like, and you just keep building. So it's like, try not to worry. Like, I always try not to like think about the future, because it can be scary thinking like, damn, what am I going to be? How am I in 10 years? Am I going to be doing that? Like, will I even get to that? Like, so it's just, I try and never really worry about it. And I feel like I do a pretty good job of just literally like day by day. And I've had people ask me like, what do you want to do in the future? I was like, well, direct movies. Like, how are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? And I'm like, I don't really worry about it. Like, I know I have the skill to do it. It's just when it comes, it'll come. And I'm just, in the meantime, I want to do the best at what I can do right now, what's in front of me. And I'm going to, eventually it's
going to happen. All these things are just leading you to, especially with the docuseries and this and what you're shooting now. That's just showing a whole nother world of what you can create. Top of the music videos, on top of the adventure stuff. It's all coming back to Jacob Owens as a creative, and it's just showing you all these different things that you can possibly do. So you're smart, right? Just focus on the moment right now, what you're creating, and know that it's going to happen.
And kind of even going to the like you touched on, like the travel or adventure stuff or whatever. Like I never did that again with any intention of like, oh, this is what I want to do in the future, or like I can land a big brand deal by doing this or doing anything. Like, I just brought a camera and filmed because I like to film, and then I would make a video out of it or a travel film, and like it's grown a little bit, and I've had companies reach out because of it and be like, we have this private yacht, we want you to come for 2 weeks and shoot a video on it. Like, and it's just like, that's coming because I just like doing that stuff. And again, it was never like a goal or mine like, oh, I'm gonna get paid to do travel stuff or this and that. I just like doing it and would do what was in front of me and create it. And ultimately, if you keep doing it and you love to do it, and because you love to do it, it shows in the end product. It will come to you in one way or another somewhere. And then I said this on my Instagram the other day too. I said, at least like if you're doing what you love, the money will eventually follow. But if if the money doesn't come, at least you're still doing what you love. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who are stuck doing jobs they absolutely hate. I know. And they, don't make good money from it. So it's like, I would much rather be doing something that I love, not making a lot of money, you know, than doing something I absolutely hate, not making a lot of money. So
it's about that chase. It's about that journey. My mom, when I went back home for wedding a couple weeks ago, she got me this bracelet and it says the journey is the reward, because that's like one thing that I'm always getting caught up in it too myself, of just wanting things to happen now. But then it's like, why am I rushing? Like I'm trying to enjoy the best of this conversation, because I know the end goal, I know where I'm going. Enjoy these little moments, because you're gonna eventually get there. It's just enjoying that process. To get
I look
there.
back at like the years when I was like shooting with Futuristic and Kyle. I'm like, man, those were so, like, even though that was the very beginning and like I was absolutely nowhere where I wanted to be, I look back and I'm like, damn, those were some of the best years of my life. Like those were so fun. Like that, like, bro, one day we're gonna make it. Like, and you're like shooting all these videos and creating. You're getting so like, we shot this video Lexicon, and like, which actually is in the Netflix movie. They show a clip of it. And I remember we shot that and we're like, bro, this is so hard. We were like gassing each other. We're like, yeah, I can't wait to put this on YouTube. This is gonna do nothing. Like, we were so hype, you know. And like, I just look back and it's like, those were some of the best times and years. And I mean, the journey absolutely is the reward, and those are some of the best times, and you gotta appreciate the struggle for sure.
What do you think Jacob's purpose is?
I feel like my purpose is to create, inspire, and just like help people. Like I love to just create to entertain. Like I feel like that's one of my purposes. I feel like one of my purposes is to help people, because I've done that through all the like content. Like I run into a lot of people that are always just like we'll use a trick on set or something, like, don't ever like tell anyone like this is how you do that, like blah blah, blah. And it's just like, why? Like, what are you scared? Like, I don't know. It's like, you know, all people ask me questions on set and they'll be like, bro, you actually answer stuff like that? I'm like, yeah. Like, I enjoy it. I like helping people, and I find like a lot of like joy in that. And then like to inspire, like, and it wasn't something like I was intentionally like, oh, I'm gonna try and inspire people. Like, I literally would, like, whenever I started doing it recently on my Instagram a few months back, whenever I would like think of something, whether it's part of my life journey or like just in the moment, and I would just, over a black screen, I just put text. And like people just started like reposting that constantly, and would be like, bro, you inspire me so much, this and that. It was never my intention like, oh, I'm gonna do this to inspire people. It was a thought that popped into my head, and so I put it down there, and then people were like, bro, like, every time I read one of these messages from you, it gets me off my couch. And like when I read that, I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like, you know what I mean?
That's one thing I've taken from you, and I've incorporated into my like social media, and the amount of people that message me from it, or they repost it, and I'm and there's times when I write out, I take a picture of my pants, black it, and then I'm like, little to people know, I'm like taking a picture of my pants, and then I post. I'm like writing it out, and sometimes I question, like, should I even post this? And I'll fire it off. And of course,
bro, that's the mentality though, like that so many people struggle with. Do I share this? Do I post this? They're scared of like maybe the end result or feedback, like, oh, this isn't good. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you're Drake or, you know, some guy just starting out. You're going to get love and you're going to get hate. Like, it's just period. It doesn't matter how big, how good you are. Like, you know, it's just, there's always going to be those percentage of people that say something negative or don't like what you do. And like the people really sometimes control like what you put out in the world, and you should just share whatever you want to share. If you want to share it, put it out without thinking like, oh, people are gonna think I'm weird for saying this, like, or this video sucks. Like, if you like it, put it out there. And
I think that just takes time of like, get over the hump.
No, it does.
Put out content for 6 to 8 months, or do the thing for 6 to 8 months, a year.
It does.
And then it's almost like there's like a Will Smith thing. Will Smith, he said it was like an interview or something. He said, just decide on what you're gonna do, who you're gonna be, and just do it. You know, like, don't overthink it. Just decide and do it. And even if you are just starting off, treat it like you're at the top. And be professional. And
I like that.
And that's what it is. Like, you just have to, with time, because even when I was starting off, I wasn't this confident. I wasn't putting up vlogs of me sitting in my room talking about personal things. It takes time, but it's something that's going to come, and when it does, you have to just accept it and just go with your gut. And people gravitate towards the realness, the honesty. You know?
That's the one thing I'll get a lot of messages, and people will be like, bro, like, you're just real. Like, and one, they're like, first off, you're like one of the only people that responds to me. That's of like, like I had one guy like, bro, I can't believe you responded to me. I'm like, dude, I'm a regular. Yeah, but they were like, yeah, but you have like 80-something thousand followers. I was like, so?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just a regular dude like you, you know? Yeah. And I feel like so many people respect the realness just in people, not just like me, but even in like you look at artists, and that's why like J. Cole and Kendrick, they get a lot of praise because of one, they're talented, of course, but also like they're just real, and so especially more so today than ever with like how like fake people trying to be. I saw on this fitness Instagram the other day, my buddy was showing me these like Instagram fitness people are using these like Hollywood fake weights now. So like to lift they'll squat like with 5 plates on the side, and really maybe like 1 or 2 like 2 of them's real, and the 3 are like these fake foam ones that look and move very real.
Wow.
Like, and so they're doing it for the views. And you could have someone who's like struggling to work out or get in shape, or they're working really hard and they're like, man, and they're gonna feel so down about themselves when they see that. Man, I'll never get to that. Like, how are they doing that? They're gods to me. Like they're so, and then they feel so low about themselves and self-esteem. It's just fake. Yeah, and they don't even know. And so I just feel like a lot of people just appreciate that when you just come off as like an actual person and not trying to be like all cool boy, like just like a lot
of that stuff I think is short term versus long term. I think in the long term, people that are putting out that fake bullshit, it's just gonna catch up to them. But especially with the internet, the fact that somebody can just DM somebody and there's a 1% chance that they might respond, it's pretty amazing. You know, I can send a Hail Mary DM hoping that I'm gonna be able to get in contact with somebody, and if I'm right and I don't send 8 pages of text, and I'm very strategic about.
So that's the biggest thing, guys. Take this away from here, because
I know you're going with this one.
If I get a message and it's just I have to scroll up like 3 fingers worth, like I just can't respond to that. I don't have time in my day to respond to that. But if you send me a message that's like
right to the point,
right to the point, I'm going to respond to you. Period. Like, but I just can't respond to a novel that's been presented.
Because you have to read it, analyze it, thought process it. How am I gonna respond, and then spit it out?
And that's why I started like a mentorship program, because I would have so many kids start messaging me like, hey, here's my new video, can you like give me some feedback? And it's like, if I watched and then critiqued and wrote out and sent every video that was sent to me every day, I'd do nothing all day. I would just watch people's videos all day. So I was like, that was kind of a catalyst for like, okay, I'll create this mentorship program where you can have access to me like at all times. Like, you can have my phone number, you can email me, I can watch your videos, give you feedback. You'll have first access to be on any of my sets.
That's
like
pretty cool.
And like do stuff like that. But it's been cool. It's been like the amount of cool kids I've met that have been involved in it, that have been helping out on set, but now are like doing their own cool stuff because of like what I've taught them or showed them, or they've made a connection on one of my sets to another. Like a couple, I did this Dizzy video, and I think there was like 22 to 23 of them, and 5 of them came out to this Dizzy Wright music video set. 2 of them flew across the country, and 3 were in California, and they all met each other, and it was like they were like a little family. They were like, oh, you're in Jake's mentorship? And I was like, yeah, me too. And a couple of them have like done stuff together in LA, like a couple that lived here, and then 2 of the other guys, one from Ohio, one from North Carolina, have like met up and done stuff and shot stuff together, and like they're like helping each other. And so I don't know, it's cool to see like some of them, one of them, even Corey Burmester, I actually brought him on as like a director on the roster now, because he's talented.
Wow.
and he's been doing some cool stuff, and he's helped out on the football show, and I'll probably bring him on to other future projects. And I don't know, it's been cool to see that. But yeah, that came all kind of that, like those questions, on those extended questions of like, I can't answer this, but if I create a program to where it's like, all right, like I can, then that'll be valuable to a lot of people, I feel like. And no, it's been cool, it's been fun, and it's been even just cool for me to like hang out with them. And basically I was like, I'm like in your shoe, like you're in my, like the shoes I was in years ago, when you're just
you see yourself, the younger version of yourself.
And so it's cool to kind of help be somewhat of a
mentor for
these guys. Guide and mentor for these guys, because I didn't have any, bro. I just did it. Like I didn't have anyone. I didn't have like tutorials. I didn't have a mentor. I just went out and did what I thought was cool and right, and just worked hard, and and I didn't have any ends to any professional sets or anything. Like the first professional set I was ever on, it was my own. You know what I mean? Like I was never had that opportunity to be on like a big budget music video set and learn or just soak in like, oh, this is how it's run and how it goes. Like literally my first big budget set was my own set. Like, like I just step by step would, you know, and so it's
cool to have that community where these kids are, they love it. You know, that's going to be,
and they'll forever be able to, you know, help out on sets. And like, I even pay some of them now like that, like, yo, come out for the day in PA. Like I'll throw you some money. Like
that's so cool.
And I don't have to, but it's like, I do, like, cause it's like, they've kind of paid their dues, and they've also like shown that like, hey, like I'm of value, like, and like I see their, you know, a couple of them's value, and so it's like it's provided opportunities for them that they would have probably maybe never had otherwise, or would have taken more time to get to that point. So,
and I think it helps you learn. I'm sure it's helped you just grow as a person too by paying it forward to these kids and like teaching them some of the ropes. And
after the Dizzy, I think it was the Dizzy one. After the Dizzy one, we went, it was a Dizzy Wright one take video we did, and we all went to Chipotle for lunch because it was a short shoot. So we ended up just like wrapping and then taking the crew to Chipotle, and it was like the whole crew, and then obviously there was like 5 of the mentorees. They all came, and like everyone we all ate, and everyone kind of started to fizzle out. The producer, everyone kind of went home, but they were all like right there, and I literally just sat in Chipotle for like 2-3 hours with them and just talked to them, and just like, and it wasn't like sitting there, all right, what question do you have? It was just like we were just free chopping up, just go, like whatever you have, and we were just chopping back and forth, and we literally talked for like 2 to 3 hours just sitting there in Chipotle. And then finally I was like, all right, guys, I gotta go.
I gotta go edit.
Like, I gotta go do some edits and work. But yeah, it was like I enjoyed that. It didn't feel like I was like, I have an obligation to sit here and with these kids and do. I wanted to. Like I was like, what do you guys got? Like let's go. You know,
fire away.
So,
it's credit to you, man, because you're doing what you love. You know what I mean? So you'll pay it forward to these kids and talk to them as long as they have questions for you.
Yeah, and the ones that have had the strongest like work ethic and are constantly like, yo, what do you got coming up? This and that are the ones that are doing the most right now. Yeah. So it's like
how bad do you want it?
Yeah, it's a testament.
That's
how
what you gotta
bad
ask
do you want
yourself.
it?
How bad do you want it?
I should make a shirt that says that. Just how bad do you want it?
Please. There's a video that I watched like 6 years ago. It's on YouTube. It's got like 44 million views. Type in "How Bad Do You Want." It's the first one, and it's amazing. It's just
that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's called "How Bad Do You Want." I'll show you after we wrap up the pod. It's only 5 minutes, but it's incredible, and it'll really make you think. I listen to it now every morning when I'm on my way to the gym, and that's been a game changer for me.
It's the truth, absolute truth. It's how bad do you want it for anything that you do in life. Like if you want a 6-pack, how bad do you want it? Like how bad do you
put down that slice of pizza? Yeah,
you better just stop eating that pizza, those burgers and fries and all that. Like if you really want it, like just to anything in life, how bad do you want it? I like that.
Before I get into the closing questions, this is when I reverse the role. I allow my guests to ask me any one question. Could be about something we talked about today. Could be something you want to know about me. Any one question. Whatever you got, fire away.
Do you take care of your beard?
And I had a feeling it was going to be a bearded question.
Do you groom the beard?
I personally don't. I have a barber that I go to.
Okay.
I get a loaf. It's a pain.
But do you have like any little house products that you come in with? You put little I have a pick in it or whatever.
I have a pick and I just comb it. And this is some bearded talk, ladies and gentlemen. I have a pick that I just comb it, but other than that, I go to a barber, which is pathetic, usually like every 2 to 3 weeks because I get a low fade.
Gotcha.
And it's high maintenance, and I know it's horrible, folks. I wish I didn't do it to myself, but I like the haircut, and so I see him enough that he can clean it up and make it look.
Right.
So you're kind of seeing me at the back, and I'm getting a haircut in a couple of days, and when it's good, it's like money, bro. It's money. What about yourself?
I literally don't do anything. Like I'll occasionally randomly like comb it out or whatever, but that's it. Like I remember I was in a grocery store one time. It's so weird. I was just walking down the aisle. This dude walked straight up to me, like beeline right to me. He goes, "Yo, dude, what do you?" And he reaches out his hand to go touch my beard, and I like kind of back my face up, and he's like, "Man, like what do you put in your beard to make?" He literally says this. He says, "What do you put in your beard to make it grow?" And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't put anything in it. It's natural." Like,
oh my god.
It's like, man. that's a nice beard. And he's like, you don't like do anything to it. You don't. I was like, no, don't. And I was
just
like,
let it grow, bro.
All right, man, peace. Like it was, bro, so weird.
Some people are weird like that.
No, some people though, like they take crazy care of the beard. They put in products and oils and all this other stuff. And so I'm just curious if you. I
tried oil when I was in college just because there was the Dollar Beer Club. And it was cool. I was just getting the oil too often. I wasn't using it enough.
Yeah.
It definitely made it a little bit more shinier, and it was like whatever. But I never really put any products.
All right, hold on. Quick second question.
Yep.
Will you ever shave it off?
Not at this time.
Yeah.
Not at this time. I haven't been clean. I haven't been clean shaven in probably 6+ years. I mean, it hasn't always been like this. It used to be just like much more like to the skin, but still like this kind of length or thickness against my face. But
it's literally, I feel like it's almost identical color to mine. Is
100%,
mine a little redder?
100%. We got the red. We definitely have identical.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's crazy.
It's pretty spot on.
It's crazy. But yeah, at this point, especially now, it's like part of the branding and stuff. And I claim to be the world's favorite beard man, which we could argue all day long. It's not going anywhere. My mother is not the biggest fan. She wants it trimmed, nice and clean.
That's same with my mom.
But I think every mother is not the biggest fan of the beard gangs. But
no, it's funny. She never liked it, even when it was like really, really small, and then it grew out long and she really hated it. But it's growing on her a little bit, but she just likes it when it's like cleaned up and a little shorter. Like she'll always be like, it's a little too long. You need to trim it down a bit. Like
take it down.
It looks good, but take it. Yeah, get it a little smaller. So
that's hilarious.
But yeah, I don't think I could ever. No. It's literally the random thought. It'll pop into my head every once in a while. Like just shave it all off and like shock people. Just like, bro, that's what you look like. Like, but then I'm like, nah, I can't shave it off. I don't know. I battle with myself that time. Just like I want to do it for fun, just to be like one day on Instagram I go up and it's just gone.
Like no,
it's just gone. Like wait, what? Like. So I always think about that, but then I'm like, man, I don't know if
it's part of you now. Yeah. It's part of you now.
No, and I think it's become a more like recognizable staple too, because I mean I'm definitely like I guess growing in popularity or however you would say it, but I feel like I get recognized more so with I guess the beard because it's just
you're the only bearded director I follow.
Right, because it's like I don't know, it's just kind of definitely it's hard to miss. My favorite though is when I go to the post office. There's this lady at the post office that always like
she loves it.
Yeah, she always. It's in Arizona. This post like I've been there. She's not there all the time, but like 3 times I've gone there and she's been there. And she's always like said like, oh, I like your beard. Like it's kind of funny.
I won't do it often, but occasionally if I see a guy in public and I'm walking by and I see he's got a great beard. I don't do it
the beard nod.
I will respect. I'll say, my man, great beard. Yeah. And they kind of love it. The girlfriend always roll her eyes or something. It's
so funny. There's this one show. I don't remember the show, but it was like this time travel show, and the black dude in it meets this other black dude, and they're in the past now, and like they're like way in the past, and they're all saying hi to each other. It's like 2 white people and then a black dude, and they all say hi, and he like says hi to the guy and like kind of gives him like a little head nod, and the guy that's from the past, and the other black guy's like, what was that? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, are you okay? Like he didn't like understand what his head nod was like, and you know, kind of like the new, like you see someone, you're like, yeah, great beard. And so and then after he left, they're like, what was that, man? And he's like, the black nod, like you see another black man, you just nod your head. And it was I was so weak because I was in Vegas with my homie Will for NAB, and we're walking down this hotel hallway. This black dude, he's black, and this black dude comes walking down the hallway. And they just nod at each other, and bro, I got so weak. I just looked at him. I was like, the black nod. He's like, yeah. And no, it's funny though. I noticed that like I'll see someone with like a really nice beard, and it's just kind of like, what up, man?
What up?
Like,
without sign of respect.
Anything, it's just like
nice sign of respect.
Nice one.
It's a sign of respect. Little nod to the beard. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on social media if they don't already follow you?
Social media, Instagram is just at Jacob Owens, and Jacob is with a K. It's a little different. My parents decided to switch it up on them and go with a K.
I like it.
Jacob Owens, and then Twitter, it's Jacob Owens with an extra S. So my Twitter got hacked like a year ago, and like they stole my Jacob Owens handle, and so I had to make a new one and just add another S on there. Like, so that kind of sucks.
It's a pain in the ass.
So shout out to that person, and yeah, then YouTube, the Buff Nerds. I mean, those are like the 3 main things that I don't use Facebook or anything like that, really. So just Instagram at Jacob Owens is the main one. Twitter, Buff Nerds, YouTube. And yeah, that's really it.
Before I ask the final question, honestly, I remember when I started this podcast, just thinking. I came out to LA in like the 20 episode, around the 20s, and I did a bunch of podcasts out here. And there was a guy, Gordy Land. He was episode 35. I did a podcast with, and at the time he had said something. He's like, "Oh, my buddies just hit episode 100," and I just remember I was so early on. I was like in the 30s. And I'm like, man, one day I'm gonna be at episode 100. Like that's just it's so far away, but I know I'm gonna get there. I'm passionate with why I'm starting this project. I'm still early on, but one day I'm gonna get there. And I hit around the 50 marker, moving to LA, and then probably like 2 or 3 months out, I start in my mind thinking like, okay, episode 100 is gonna happen. Let's just see how the cards play out. Right. And then I'm getting to 90, and I'm starting to post on my social media like, hey, anybody have suggestions for like 100? I'm like hoping maybe some friends of mine will be like, yo, bro, I got you a connect with this guy.
Right.
And I truly couldn't be happier to have you as episode 100 because you got first off, great beard. That's gotta be the number one. Yeah. But just being able to see you from afar for the last couple of years, just hustling, grinding. You are a great person that represents why this podcast started.
Right.
Somebody that didn't have a passion figured out, somebody that was trying to put all these pieces of the puzzle together, but was so inspired by all these different creatives and business people and makeup artists. And I just saw what passionate people had that purpose every day they woke up. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy day, because I see you work all the time. And I was even telling Kirk before you came here, it's like, I just appreciate you doing this today because I know you got a million things going on in your life. No. So thank you for being part of this, and thank you for being the 100th episode.
I'm stoked that I'm episode 100. That's a tight little honor. And Beard Bros for life.
Beard Bros for life. Last question for you.
Yeah.
For somebody that's listening, doesn't have that passion figured out, doesn't know what their purpose is, what's the best 2 to 3 pieces of advice you would give to somebody?
Well, the one, I don't know if it would pertain to that, but the one piece of advice I always kind of like, the first thing that pops into my mind when someone asks me like, yo, do you have any advice for me on just whatever, it's always like, I always say work on one thing every single day. Just like every single day, work on one thing. I think I touched on it earlier that like, it's just it could be small, it could be big, whatever. Just get one thing done that puts you that one step closer, like even if it's just 1 foot in front of the other, not even a big like step or leap, just like do something that's going to put you one step closer towards, your goal or your end kind of dream or whatever, if you have one. Because, the most successful people, like I said, are the people with those heavy work ethics that are just out there all the time, working and pursuing what they love. And I mean, for me, I feel like why I've also, and it's not for everyone, but another piece of advice is I always try and treat people, basically as best as I can. Like, cause people want to be around, work with people that are good, nice people, you know what I mean? And so they always say like nice guys finish last, and, and there are a lot of people that are dicks that are very successful. Like, so that's not to say like if you're nice, you're going to be successful. But I feel like a big testament to why I've been so successful, or have had a lot of success, is the people that constantly want to work with me or then refer me to other people, because I'm like, one, I'm talented, but they love working with me. I'm nice. They get along with me. Like, I'll get contacted from some random person. Hey, we want you to shoot this thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, how did you, Nat, or this guy hit me and he had nothing but amazing things to say about you. And it's like, boom, another step forward because of that. But I wouldn't get that. It's like, no one's going to refer you if you're a dick and treat people wrong, or like you're a snake in the grass and you're just trying to come out on top with a little bit of money, and then you did like, so my biggest piece of advice is just to always be as nice and humble, and don't get a big ego and ahead of yourself, and just treat people with respect and be a fun person to be around, because people want to be around fun people. So
that's a fact.
Yeah.
Jacob Owens.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my man.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll catch you guys next time. See ya.